Hello and welcome to the latest MK Web, MK Don's sports podcast with myself, Dan Palmer. I'm here as ever with Scott Kirk. How are things going?
Yeah, not bad. Not too bad. Can't complain. So, been interesting last no game on a weekend. It's quite weird.
Yeah. Bit of an unusual one for Dons. I know we had it with the Oldham game getting cancelled last season, but usually when there's an international break, we are playing. This time, not the case with Reeves, Grigg, and Dele Alli all with international commitments. As it happened, only Ali took to the field in the end, but that was still enough to get the Sheffield United game called off. So a fortnight break, but I think Richie Barker was saying in the MK News this week it might benefit them after a sort of tough start to the season, a bit of R&R if you like, and hopefully come back firing on Saturday against Barnsley.
It's been Saturday, Tuesday since the season was begun. It was 7 games in August, so it's been it's been a very very hectic period, and I know they've been playing games at least twice a week in pre-season as well. So from their perspective, obviously the season's been going for a month, but for Dons, I think it's been 2 very very hectic months. So I think this break's come at quite a nice time, really. We don't want to be too shattered by September, do you? So
no.
So I think it's quite good. A slight worry for me is if that Dons have really built some momentum up there, and with 4 clean sheets, and you just hope that it's not spoilt that momentum by not playing for 2 weeks. But I think that's the only way for me. But you need to have your breaks and that, and I think Ben Reeves and Darren Potter were sort of had knocks, and they've just been able to get over them. Danny Green as well, he was one who's just had a bit of a knock, and it can give them a little bit more time to just get back and get a bit fitter. So it's a strange time of the year for it to happen, but hopefully it's just that bit of R&R which they maybe needed, and like you say, and then start again with 2 games a week again for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think it's a great point. You can look at it both ways, can't you? The sort of chance to recuperate, but as you say, after the Crawley win and Man United, obviously beforehand, just sort of thinking, let's get the next game on. Playing so well.
Yeah.
Especially the defence, as you mentioned, with the clean sheets. The first 2 games, wasn't it? A couple of goals conceded against Gillingham, even though they won that game, and then 3 against Peterborough. So people were sort of saying the defence was a bit dodgy. They looked to have sorted that out.
Yeah.
So hopefully they've remembered everything they were doing at the back. But it's going to be a tricky game on Saturday. A team just come down from the Championship last season in their own backyard. So I think Barnsley are going to be quite a stiff test.
They look good, quite good going forward as well. Got a few exciting players to watch out for, I think, Barnsley. So it's you can imagine it being a high scoring one. And obviously Cal McFadzean's banned for Saturday with the sending off against Crawley. So so I would assume that Jordan Spence will be coming into that role, and he's obviously not started yet for Dons. So it's going to be interesting to see him. I mean, it's not like he doesn't know how Dons play. And he's been alongside Anthony Kerr for about 6 months last season, so hopefully he'll just be able to slot in there. But whenever there's changes like that, you've got to be careful. Although Richard did make a good point as well when I asked him about that. Then that obviously Lee Hodgson was injured during that Chesterfield 0-0, and I think David Martin came off in that game. 1-0, and they still managed to keep that clean sheet. Although it was pretty solid then, being able to name the same team since then. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how assuming that Spence comes in, how he's going to sort of cope there. But I think Barnsley are quite good looking going forward. But I think Dons have been really good as well so far this season. So it's going to be an interesting game on Saturday, especially with them just coming down.
Yeah, I think it's nice to have obvious options to come into the side when someone's out. Like say McFadzean's out, in comes Spence.
Yeah.
I don't think that's always been the case. It's been sort of square pegs in round holes, if you like.
Well, it certainly was last season.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Jordan Spence would have got injured last season. You would have wondered who would have come in really. So it's there's I agree with that. There's a lot more strength and depth I think this season, which was needed. I mean, you're quite happy to have Jordan Spence in that role. Just slotting in quite nicely. So he's had to wait for his chance, and now we're going to have to see. It's going to be interesting whether McFadzean gets straight back in the team or not, because John Spence has a good game on Saturday. You can't take him out, and McFadzean may find himself on the bench, and arguably deservedly so, because he's been fun for a game, and you got to if you're winning games, you don't really want to change it, do you? So,
yeah, well, if you're not in possession of the jersey, if you like, then you have to go and win it back. I think the strength in depth is perhaps best demonstrated by transfer deadline day when nothing happened really, which is some people, obviously fans love to see new players coming in, but past deadline days with the Dons have sort of been desperate for signings. It's been the be all and end all to get some new bodies in, and when these players have arrived, they haven't really made an impact. Nothing's really happened. It hasn't changed anything. It's a bit of a luxury this season. The squad's sort of already in place. No reinforcements. We weren't desperate for reinforcements, and in fact, more notably as well, stopped anyone leaving. I think a few bids came in. Obviously, Dele Alli is still here. That's the big one, but to keep hold of players like Reeves, his performance against Man United, 3 assists. I'm sure people would have seen that and thought, let's have him in the Championship. He's too good for League One, but he's still here. Ali's still here. So I think a quiet deadline day is a great deadline day for MK Dons.
I think it is. Yeah, it's a very different one. I think they were just looking at the phones and just hoping like mad that they wouldn't, that they wouldn't have to delve into that transfer market really late on. But no, it's fantastic news that the likes of Dele stayed. He's getting better. He is just so impressive now. He's filled out over the summer, and he's just got every asset of the game. He can do the dirty stuff. He can win the ball back. He can take players on. He's skillful, and he's he's the sort of player who you can now build your team around, for the next few months. So massive keeping him. Absolutely brilliant that he wants to stay at Dons as well, which I think is the real brilliant thing. He's a Milton Keynes lad, so it's fantastic to have a look. I mean, everybody loves to see a local lad. People went to school with. I think it's pictures on the walls of the the fans just around the ground and that. So it's fantastic to see him doing so well, and it's fantastic to see him wanting to stay at MK Dons as well. And it's great that he stayed. That's the biggest piece of transfer news throughout the summer. I think it's remarkable that they've been able to keep hold of him. It's quite a nice change for Dons to have a quiet one. I think they've done it really well over the summer, the recruitment. They've not just left it all to the last minute. I mean, we were sort of thinking early on, no one was brought in massively early on, but then there was a real steady stream of players coming in. I'm trying to remember who it kick-started with. I think it started with Danny Green. He was a quality signing to bring in. Calvert Fanzine's a good signing to, and then it's sort of for a good month to just quality signings bringing in. Season loans, not fair enough for Greg and Afoga, but the season long, so it's not like they're gonna be scarpering in January, and some real quality signings there. And they've done the recruitment things right this season. To not leave it all to the last minute to get those players bedded in and get them signed on. I think they've done really well. They deserve quite a bit of credit for that. Carruthers is a fantastic signing as well. Who they brought in long before the transfer deadline day. So they've been really clever with it, and I think it's fair play to Dons for the way they've brought players in this season. Yeah,
well, hopefully it's all going to continue to go well up until Christmas, and then the January transfer window. Just go back to Ali quickly. I think for me, it's always better to play League One, League Two football rather than being in the reserves at a Premier League club. I think it just sounds like he's got the right attitude. He's got the right people around him as well. I'm sure there would be some agents out there going, go for a few £1 million. I'll pocket my fee for that. And he seems really focused, switched on, the right attitude. I think he's going to have a big future in the game.
I mean, look what happened with Patrick Bamford. He's playing for Chelsea, and then he get loaned out to a club like Dons anyway. So from Dele Alli's perspective, what's going to happen for him really? He's going to go to a big club, but he's probably going to get loaned out to a League One team anyway. So why not just carry on playing for League One team?
When's Brendan Galloway going to make an appearance for Everton? That could be a season or two, if ever.
So it's some big games coming up. I think another point as well, just in terms of the form that Dons have shown, they've played some big games already. Peterborough away is obviously massive, and they're top of the table now, so can't argue with that. Chesterfield are going to be a decent team this season, I think, as well. They're same number of points as Dons, so to win there was a fantastic result. So they've already played a few of those big teams, and Bradford coming up next Tuesday night. They're doing quite well at the moment this season, so you'd expect Barnsley to be up there as well. Bristol City's coming up in a couple of weeks. You know, they're second at the moment. So, and Yeovil Town got relegated. Not sure how well they're going to do, but you know, it's not going to be an easy trip there. So there's some big games that have already been played from a league perspective, and a few more to come very shortly. So it's quite a telling sort of start to the season. And these big teams have played away as well. So the home games are to come, and hopefully, you know, that you know, to get those games out of the way now could be a really good thing when you need to hit a bit of form after Christmas, and that, you know, if you're playing those games, those big teams at home, you know, it's a massive advantage that. So I think it's exciting this season. I think again, you know, like last season, Dons were unbeaten until September, so we should probably be making sure that we don't forget that fact. But there just seems to be, since that Man United win especially, you know, there's just a massive buzz around the club, and you know, there's all this Tottenham Hotspur stuff now, which is potentially going to happen. There's so much going on around the club, you know, it's getting national attention as well as local attention now at Dons at the moment, and you know, Dons is the place to be really, I think, at the moment, and it's just fantastic, and hopefully they've kept that momentum going through this 2-week break that they've had, and hopefully they can carry it on for the next few weeks.
Yeah, you mentioned Spurs there, obviously.
It's amazing.
Very interesting story. A lot of speculation. Tottenham announcing that they're very likely going to need a season away from White Hart Lane while they construct their new stadium. stadiummk, widely tipped, believed to be strongly in the frame, I think, to host Spurs potentially. So Premier League football in Milton Keynes, maybe as early as 2017, 2018. What do you make of it?
I think it'll be fantastic for the city to see. I can imagine a few people saying that, they're trying to get another club out of London and all that sort of stuff. But I think it's fantastic. You know, it'd be amazing for people there to be going to those games and seeing Premier League football. And you know, you never know, that could bring more people in from a Dons perspective. You know, so you know, in a weird way that they're watching Premier League football, and then you know, when Spurs go away after that, you know, all right, well, let's try and get behind Dons so that we can watch the football we've seen with Spurs, sort of thing. So it could be a Premier League game for all we know yet. But that's probably too soon. But no, I think it could be really exciting. It's going to be really intriguing to see how it works. It's going to be intriguing to see in terms of staff how that all works and that. But I'm sure a lot of people would really like to see Spurs there. You know, it'd be a great opportunity to see Premier League club and see some of the biggest teams in the country in Milton Keynes. It'd be fantastic. I'm sure people in Cumberland would love that prospect. You know, if indeed it happens. It sounds like there's a hell of a long way to go with all this yet. Lots of things to be sorted out, and you know, and be arranged, and you can imagine it must be a logistical nightmare trying to work out what is going to be going on for this. Similar to how MK Lightning were having to play games in Coventry, you know, Spurs might, you know, it's a long way to have to travel for Spurs. So, but from a Milton Keynes perspective, you know, and pushing Milton Keynes, you know, Milton Keynes is always all about sort of pushing the name out nationally, internationally, you know, and you're not going to be able to do it much better than having not just a Premier League club as well, but a team usually sort of in Europe as well, at the ground as well. It could be. I think I'm really excited if it happens, and I'm really intrigued to see what sort of announcements are going to be made over the next months, and it's probably going to be a long time before anything's properly announced. So let's not get too excited about it maybe now. You know, let's see if something more concrete comes about. But it could be really exciting, and I'd love to be reporting on Spurs games. That'd be really interesting as well. So
no, I'm sure Pete. You know, I'd love to see his stadium full. I wonder if there'll be a bit of sort of nervousness about it, because you know, his dream is for MK Dons to play Premier League football at stadiummk, and it could be the case of the first Premier League game in the city doesn't involve MK Dons. So I wonder how you feel about that. There's also issues with quality of the pitch with two teams playing on it, and I guess you've got to be careful as well. Maybe the floating fans in the area who just, you know, they come along to watch a game of football. Would they now go to the Tottenham games over MK Dons? Is there a bit of a danger Dons could become the sort of second fiddle in our own city for a season? I think there's a few issues to look into, but as you say, it's going to be you know, very interesting to see how this pans out over the you know, coming weeks and months. You know, it's credit again to the standard of the stadium, isn't it? It's even being considered in the same breath of the likes of Wembley, Olympic Stadium, which have also been mentioned.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
it's one of the best.
Yeah.
You know, obviously one of the best stadiums in the south of the country now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is MK. So.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, with the World Cup coming here as well, and the Women's FA Cup final that's been here, you know, it's they've proven that they can host a big games, and of course that Man United game, which has proven that Dons can, you know, Stadium MK can handle those big games. So, yeah, but like you said, to be in the same breath as two of, well, not, I mean, Wembley and Olympic Stadium are two of the best stadiums in the world. So for Stadium MK to be touted as a potential alongside those two is fantastic, and it is a lovely stadium. You go to all the grounds in League One, and Stadium MK has got to be in the top 5 of best grounds in the league at least.
Yeah.
You know, if not higher, if not the best, because it's not made for League One. It's made for Premier League games. You know, and it's really exciting. I'm really excited. I think there's a lot of merit in what you said about our Don's going to be second fiddle in their own backyard sort of thing. But yeah, I think there's a lot of merit in that actually. But I still think it's very exciting to have a club like Spurs based here for the season as well. So.
Yeah, no, I believe there'd surely be some sort of, you know, significant financial boost for Dons if you know, that could buy players, that could push them on their own ambitions. So interesting times. I think that's enough for this week. That's all. You know, enjoy your trip to Barnsley if you're going there, and we'll see you again soon. Cheers. Thanks.